Welcome and good morning, everyone. Welcome to another of our webinar session. I am Pastor Roy Reeves, your host. I will be dealing with the heart of hospitality. It's one of the most beautiful experience when you enter a business or a church or any institution and you are treated kindly and well by their hospitality or their first impression. There's a statement that said first impression lasts. And so I want to talk to us today about the heart of hospitality. And so I'd love to begin this morning by quoting two very important scripture taken from the book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 2. It says, "Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unaware." Also, 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 9. And it says, "Show hospitality to one another without grudging." And so today I am excited to start this new series. And so I will walking you through some very important things concerning hospitality, the heart of hospitality. Hospitality is not a science, it is rather an art. It requires a large, we call it a large dose of creativity and innovation, motivation and inspiration. One must offer individualized and unique attention for each visitor, whether it be at your business, at your church, or any institution that you are a part of. It is very important for persons to feel your warmth and your love. Therefore, hospitality must be tendered much like a high quality work of art, right? With creativity, dedication, passion, and love of personality. Now, it is important for any institution that is going to strive and grow and be impactful, right? Why is it important for us to be hospitable? It is important. It's a question that we can't ignore if we're going to be effective in this time where people love service, quality service, good service, right? So, because it is an act of love towards others, why should we be hospitable? Because it is an act of love towards others, because it is one of the most important ways in which we can accomplish the work Jesus gave us to do. That's why he said we must be hospitable to everyone, not just some. Bringing others to know the love we have found in him is to demonstrate hospitality. Now, it is important also. Why is it so important for not just the pastor, not just the manager, the CEO, to be hospitable? It is the mission. The mission is so important of any organization, any institution, that your first impression team, the person you meet at the door, the person you meet at the desk, is warm. People need the gospel. Yes, some people will not tolerate a mediocre church. Absolutely. People will choose rather churches if we are other churches rather if we are not our best when it comes on to somebody visiting for the first time. And so, as 1 Corinthians 13 says in verse 1, he said that, that we must demonstrate love. Love is kind, charitable. Love is something that we demonstrate in a way that it can be felt. And so leads me to the next important point. If we're going to be able to be great persons at hospitality, as a first impression team member, there are three things that are valuable and very important in this aspect. And I'm going to talk about the 3 R's of hospitality. Now, what are these 3 R's of hospitality? First, relating warmly in love. Everyone wants to be related warmly to. Everyone wants to feel a sense of care. As people want the attention of those they're communicating with, to feel that they are present. You are focusing on them. right? Not neglecting or ignoring them. The second R of importance is recognize how people see their needs, right? The first thing that people is keyed into is how you relate to them, right? Whether you relate to them warmly in love, or your first impression is really going to be your last impression. So your first impression must be very good. It is important also to know that people are going through varied situation, and so if you can key into a person's emotions and their feeling, and you can relate to them in a way based on their needs. They're visiting for the first time, they're coming to do business with you. They want to feel a sense of calm, of peace, of warmth, and that is important for us to do if we're going to be effective. Now, but third R of hospitality is recommending solution. And this is important. We must first relate warmly in love, recognize how people see their needs, because if you miss these first two opportunities, when it comes on to the third, it's going to be impossible to give or to share with someone something that is important to them, for them to be responsive or to respond to you in a kind and proper way. Now let's look at these three R's in a more integral, careful way, right? So, but the first one I want to talk about is how we relate. The gospel is not a product to be sold, but rather it is relationship to share. So if your hospitality team, your first impression teams is on their A game, the first thing that they're going to do when someone walks to the door of a church, right, or any offices that is related to the ministry, they are going to feel that the warmth and love of someone who stands, who is greeting and receiving them. There is a first relationship we must first understand, is the relationship with Christ. Then our new relationship with others, right? According to the book of John, chapter 13, verse 35, it says, by this shall all men know that ye are my disciple, right? Why? If you have love one to another. We're talking about the heart of hospitality, how to build relationships and connection with people you're meeting for the first time, probably the second time or the third time. So how you relate to someone will determine a great deal of how they respond to you, and whether or not they find it an honor and a privilege to be in your organization or to be in your company. And so relating warmly in love keeps one from becoming manipulative, and avoid confusing the ends, goals, with the means, which is method. Friendship opens doors that nothing else can. So when we relate warmly in love, there's a door that is being opened for someone who have never had a relationship with Christ to see us demonstrate the love of God in such practical and proper way. And so it leads me to our second R. The first R deals with how we relate. We relate in love. The second R is recognize, how people see themselves. Each person is unique in many ways. All of us are unique. All of us are unique in our qualities of life, how we were raised or we were socialized. And so we want to be treated in a certain manner. As a Christian, the best way to reach someone is to recognize what is important to that person and offers ways to meet his or her needs. So a first impression team, a greeter, someone who's in this ministry must understand your role of how you relate, recognizing the people you're serving, recognizing that everyone coming to your church, coming to your business are uniquely different, right? Everyone has their unique qualities and should be respected and should be loved and shown that quality. In St. John chapter 4, verse 7 through 15, we have read the story of the woman at the well. It's such a profound story. It was this woman, Jesus had the privilege of meeting her at the well, right? He sent his disciples away, and here he had an encounter with this woman who was a Samaritan, right? He was a Jew. The Jew had no dealing with the Samaritan. But in the manner in which he spoke with her, relate to her, she felt warm. She felt comfortable that she could talk to him, right? In the same manner, people will respond when we recognize their needs. Jesus knew her need. She had a need of salvation. She was living a sinful life, and but he did not make her sinful life to be the permanent reason why he was communicating with her. He wanted to show her that there is something greater, something better ahead of her. And because of how he related to her, he was able to recommend a solution to her need and her situation. He asked her for a drink of water, right? And she in turn asked, why are you asking me? I am a Samaritan. You're a Jew. This ought not to be. But he was able, through his warmth and love, to garner that respect and to garner her attention. And so it leads me to the next point, which is how he had shown her love and respect despite her situation, despite that her situation was not one that is good and reflect holiness or godliness, right? But he was able to relate to her warmly in love. He recognized how she saw her situation and how she recognized that as a Samaritan, there should not be a relationship or communication between herself and him. But he put her at ease by the way he treat her. I am hoping that as first impression team, as first impression leaders, first impression members of your staff, that you are doing the same thing, relating warmly in love to others, recognize how people see their needs. And then it gives you an opportunity, like Jesus had, where he was able to recommend a solution. So it leads me to the third aspect, the 3 R's of hospitality. Neither a physician nor a psychiatrist recommend a cure for a personal illness before diagnosing a problem. So Jesus had to diagnose the problem of this woman before he was able to recommend a solution to her. But because of how he treated with her, because of how he dealt with her, she felt loved, she felt recognized, and appreciated. And so he was now able to recommend a solution to her problem. And so in order for us to recommend a personal solution to anyone, we first must relate warmly in love to develop a relationship, right? And that is what visitors, that is those who are coming to your church for the first, second, or third time, are those who are coming to your office, your business. They want to sense that same type of warmth, right? You must recognize how they see their needs. Then you can recommend personal solution, such as Christ, then the plan of salvation, and how the church function, and the church is there to meet your need of salvation, your need of relationship and family and friendship, and any other thing, because they are now open to hear from us when we relate to them warmly in love. And so I will continue in this series on the heart of hospitality, because there are so many persons who don't understand the power of relating warmly in love. Now, there are persons who, how they relate is very cold, unfriendly. And so we have what we are having today in a lot of environment, in church environment, in business environment, in home environment, is that we have a cold and unfriendly churches, cold and unfriendly offices, and cold and unfriendly businesses. But people want to sense a warm and friendly church. People want to feel a big difference is an hospitality ministry that cares about people. And so thanks for taking this time out to hear me talking about the heart of hospitality. And we will continue in the next series on cold and unfriendly churches. And so I want to delve deeply in that aspect, because we want to make a great impression on those we come in contact with. May the Lord bless you as you have a great day today in Jesus' name.